This is the Diamond Niner Fans podcast for the week of April 8th, 2018. Nick and Kevin are back with you for another week.
What's up, Niner Nation?
As always, lurking ever present in the background is producer Brad. Go! There's now producer Brad has his own sound effect. How about that? Sorry we missed you guys last week. We did not get an episode out. Just didn't happen. Nothing you did. Nothing. It's not you. It's us. Easter weekend, family stuff. You know, schedules, man. Just didn't work out. But not to worry. Here we are. We're back with you. As always, we love hearing from you guys. Always feel free to reach out to us at Diamond Niner Fans on Twitter, Diamond Niner Fans on Facebook, or you can always email us at diamond9erfans@gmail.com. So, let's just jump right into it, Kevin. Frustrating couple of weeks. Let's just lay it out here on the table. Yeah, we've lost 7 of 8, right?
Yeah, 7 of the last 8, definitely not the way we would have liked them to go.
We've dropped midweek games to a certain opponent uptown at UNCG this week. On the weekend, we lost 2 or 3 to UAB at the Hayes, and then we went down to South Florida this weekend and got swept by FAU. Let's break it down a little bit, shall we?
We'll break it down a little bit here. We'll start out with that Uptown game we had. They jumped on us pretty early in that game when Uptown. It was still pretty cold out, but they jumped on us early and they never looked back. I think our starting pitching was okay. We looked all right, but we just couldn't get enough runs on the board, and they got plenty of them. So it was nice riding the light rail back home after the game, but
that's going to be a hit. Isn't it?
Yeah, tons of students out there and fans on the rail going back to campus after the game.
The team rode down.
Yeah.
On the light rail. When me and my family, when we got on, the train, we got on at J.W. Clay there, the second stop on across 29, and we just get on and there's the dance team on the bus. They're all dressed up and they're riding down to campus. The bus is full, or the train's full of Niners. And then, we rode together on the way back. I mean, the place was
yeah, tons
packed.
of students. It was standing room only on the way back, full of students. Appeared like students to me, but definitely kind of surprised me.
Yeah, that was the highlight of the night for sure. Seeing everybody on the train, and it was pretty cool. The crowd, the Niner crowd out for that game was solid, especially considering. I mean, this crazy spring we've had. The weather is just weird.
Yeah, it was chilly. I was able to take my family out too. They had a good time. Good to see a lot of good friends I hadn't seen in a while. A lot of alums that don't usually come to baseball games that they came to the Uptown games, and it was good to see some folks. I think the alumni had an event out in left field in the picnic area. It sounds like that was successful as well. Good night for being Uptown. Great ballpark. It's just not the result we'd like to see. I wish we had gotten that Arkansas game in and had another game Uptown, but we got 2 up there. Maybe next year we'll get some warmer weather for the March games.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where that goes, because this is obviously a good deal for the Knights. I mean, it must be. They keep doing it, right?
Right. There's money to be made on college baseball in this town, and if you look at it, we started it. We were the first game played Uptown when we played NC State a few years ago, and now Appalachian State, they have their home game there. I think they're playing Gardner-Webb maybe, Uptown. And Wake Forest is now they're having a home game. Their game against us was there.
We were their home game.
Yeah, their home game. And South Carolina had a game there this past week. They played the same opponent we played last week. But
I didn't. I should have looked up attendance numbers for that game. I'm sure it was big.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for the Knights, and I think we have a good relationship with the Knights, so it's good for us. I think we'll have at least, hopefully, we can continue this moving forward and have have more opponents coming into town, big time opponents coming in.
Yeah, and it would be cool. Let me put it this way. Not that the staff needs my help with scheduling, because, they don't. It would be really cool. I think what we have, because we have such a diverse population in the city as far as people from all over the place, right? You would think that there would be plenty of alumni bases in the town that maybe we could draw in some opponents that we're not used to seeing around here that we could pull in. I mean, I don't know, but somebody from the, pull somebody in from the Big Ten. There's lots of Big Ten alumni in this city. Maybe we could entice some people like that to come in. I don't know. It would be a cool showcase. Is what I'm thinking.
I mean, it's great. I know at some point, I mean, that's hard logistically, but I'd love to see a conference Friday night game played up there.
Especially if we had, it's got to be one of your, I would have said Rice, but a Southern Miss, because they're coming back on the schedule now. Maybe that could be done.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully down the road. I know, like I said, logistics are tough to work out. And the Knights, they just started their season this week, so our conference season's kind of overlapping with their season. But
it's definitely a cool thing, though.
Yeah, it is awesome, and look forward to it.
Tool.
Look forward to doing it again next year.
So we get through that game, and that was, you drop that game, and you don't want to lose any game, but it's like, okay, on to the weekend.
Yeah,
right.
Where you make your monies on the conference weekends, anyways, right?
Yeah. So we bring UAB in. We come out Friday night. Josh was Josh.
Yeah, Josh did great. He pitched into the ninth. Didn't want to come out. I know he wanted to stay in there and finish it off, but
oh my goodness, I've never actually seen a pitcher that I thought was going to try to just physically not leave the mound. Josh didn't want to leave, man. Yeah. Doty was like patting him on the belly, like it's all right. He was shaking his head. Nope. I don't think I'm leaving.
And I think Patton was already standing next to him before he walked off.
Yeah. Patton didn't actually come out to pitch. He came out to help get Josh off the mound, and then they just let him stay in and pitch.
But unbelievable effort from Josh on that Friday night. Got us a win. Our only win of this since our last show. So. It was a good Friday to start off.
Well, okay, so you're leaving there. I started to say Friday. It was Thursday.
It was a Thursday night. Yep.
You leave there Thursday night, and you're thinking, okay, we're in good shape. Saturday, man, just kind of came off the rails.
Yeah. Well, the staff had been mixing and matching on their. They made a change with their weekend rotation. Matt Brooks had struggled a little bit, so they wanted to change up the Saturday start or the second weekend start. And they went with Colby Bruce, and things didn't work out on Saturday. And that game turned crazy. They scored a lot of runs in the first couple innings, knocked us around a little bit. We bounced back, scored a bunch of runs. I think we hit 3 homers that game. Camarada Yet and Mims off the heat hit homers. Had some terrible officiating. Lauren got thrown out of the game. He got ejected from the game for arguing a call at first base, which was clearly
wrong.
And even the UAB baseball Twitter account, they tweeted out, "What a great double play," and they showed video of it. It was clearly the guy was
by several feet.
Yeah, the guy was clearly safe.
Yeah, and what's so funny about that is, a lot of those plays at first, in particular, I mean, there's a lot of just bang bang plays in baseball. You go, man, I'm not really sure what I just saw. But you and I were standing down the right field line up there on the berm, and that one, that call was wrong in real time.
Yeah,
I mean, we both looked at each other and said, he just got that wrong. I mean, our dugout saw it. Obviously, Coach Hibbs saw it.
Everybody saw it.
The only person that didn't see it was the guy that was standing right on top of it.
Yep. I don't want to harp on umpiring too much, but yeah, that was a crazy game. And like I said, Lauren Hibbs got ejected. Niners went on; they battled back, but lost a crazy one that game. And then the series finale on that Saturday, we jumped on them early. I think we were up 3-0. Ended up we were leading 4-1. Was it 4-1? My week.
I think you're right.
Anyway, we ended up losing that one in heartbreaking
This
fashion.
is what happened, folks, when you cover 2 weeks worth of baseball in one show.
Yep.
It all runs together. We had the lead.
We did have a lead. It was a heartbreaking loss. We had that series. We thought we had that series locked up. It was 3-1, and Cooner pitched well, and we ended up losing on was it a 2-run homer?
Yeah, but before we get too off into that, one of the stories that's missing in this has been the emergence of Joey Cooner, because I mean he's really, he was one of those guys coming into the season. Go back to the preview show that we were like, well, what are we going to get from him? We don't really know, but yeah. I mean, it's a good thing he's doing for us what he's done, because he's been a big part of what we're doing.
Right, and he's been solid for us the past 2 or 3 starts, and he was solid that week too. Just couldn't hold a lead, couldn't get enough runs, and couldn't hold a lead for him. We talked about Matt Brooks struggled a little bit. He came in, he lost the starting spot that weekend, and came in relief in that game and gave up the go-ahead homer, and it kind of leads into the next weekend where he got back on the mound, pitched a good outing for us.
Well, and I said this to you at the time when Brooks didn't start, and then he came in, and then he gives up the homer, right? I said, man, Brooks is at a crossroads. I mean, you never know. So much of this is mental, right? Mm-hmm. And it's hitting, pitching, all of it. And I said, man, he's at a crossroad, because he's obviously struggled. He gets taken out of the rotation. He gets come in on Saturday and blows the lead like that. And I'm thinking, man, where does he go from here? And I said this to you, but it reminded me of the situation that Maciejewski was in at the end of last season. Maciejewski struggled, and then things went the way they did for him in Biloxi. And we looked at each other and we said, man, how's he going to rebound from this? And look what he's done, right? So, yeah. I mean, he came back and he's got it going on. He worked hard over the offseason, worked hard in the fall, and has had on the way to having a great season for us. Brooks hit that opportunity or hit that crossroads, and I know we're not really into we haven't talked about this weekend series yet, but he got back on the mound this weekend and turned in a very respectable start. And I'm gonna give him a solid attaboy for that, because it would be easy. I think the easy path would be to start getting down on yourself and let some of that stuff bother you. But one, I give him credit, right, for working through it, and I give the staff credit. This is why you have experienced coaches that have been there with guys before. Well,
I think that tells you is he's mentally tough. I think that proves he's mentally tough when he bounced back from something like that. And the staff said they're working with something mechanically with him right now, and he's kind of it looks like he's moving in the right direction, and we definitely need him. We need him in that weekend rotation, I think, and if we want to go where we need to be. So it's definitely good to see that start. I think
what taints my view of a lot of this stuff is I do not. This is going to surprise you, Kevin, but I do not have the mentality of the starting pitcher. Yeah, never been a starting pitcher, right? So I'm kind of viewing it from my perspective, going, man, that's tough. If I were him, I would be starting to doubt, starting to question, and I mean, mentally tough is what you're talking about. The kid's tough, and I mean, if he continues to get some things worked out, that could be big for our future prospects here.
Yeah, for the rest of the season and on to next year. But yeah, he definitely bounced back this weekend. Back to the UAB series. We lost lost 2 out of 3, heartbreaking fashion on that final series finale. Couldn't get enough runs going. Pitched pretty good, but just not good enough to get the series. That series was very how do you say this? Confrontational. It's that
Yeah.
There's a lot of yakking back and forth, and there's a lot of poor officiating, and they kind of lost control, I thought, during points of that series.
I don't know. There's a lot we can't hear, right? And we can't tell what's going down the field as much as some other folks. But my impression of it, now I know for a fact that we have a solid count of one guy on our roster that likes to do a little bit of talking. I think we all know. Yeah. The guy that directs traffic after he strikes people out. But overall, I do not have the impression of our team as being a very talkative team. UAB, I think they had a handful of guys that kind of keep the pot stirred.
Well, there's some history there. The past 2 years we beat them. We knocked them out of the tournament 2 years ago, and then last year we took 2 out of 3. I think they were coming back on us in third game, and the rain came and shortened the game. So there's some bad blood there. I think I think you can see with the chippiness that we saw this last weekend.
And this is not going anywhere either, because one of their chief pot stirrers was a freshman that had a good time stealing bases and letting everyone know about it. Of course, he came back the next day after telling everyone how great he was and went 0 for 5 and threw a ball into the dugout for a run-scoring error. But, it's none of my business.
It's one of your favorites, right?
Look, I was the next day I was saying a few things in the stands, and somebody who had not been, somebody just drops in for a game and says, "Man, you're being kind of hard on that guy." I said, "Hey, look, you call attention to yourself, you might just get it." And he definitely called attention to himself. So,
Sure
when the next day when you screw up, I might just be apt to make a note of that.
Yeah.
Fair enough, right?
That's fair enough, Nick. And
last thing I'm gonna say about the UAB series, and this is why I'm not in an official capacity, because I would get suspended and or fired, is that after the game, no post game handshakes, right? Because the two teams parted ways. Jonah, if you're listening, buddy, I would have let you have them. I was ready for you to have a go at certain folks, and that would have been cool with me. But then again, that's why I'm not in an official capacity with anybody's ball club, because I would have been okay with it.
This would be a good time to say we are not affiliated with UNC Charlotte or the Charlotte 49ers Athletic
That's
Department.
right. We're unofficial, so we could say whatever we want, just like that. That's right.
Yeah.
I would have let Jonah have them.
All right, we'll close the book on that UAB series. We move on. That Tuesday, we went to UNCG. I mean, had great pitching. Chase Gooding got to start. He pitched well. No. Pinckney. Didn't Pinckney start?
Yeah, Pinckney started.
Pinckney started. Gave up 2 runs in 3 innings, I think. He did pretty good. Chase Gooding came in, pitched well. I think Horkey and I can't remember the other pitcher of that game, but we pitched well. Only gave up 2 runs, but we only got 3 hits. Bats went cold, and had a couple of guys picked off or caught stealing. Wasn't a pretty game, but it was a pitcher's duel. UNCG is a good team. Tough loss to take, but then we stayed on the road, went down to South Florida. South Florida, played.
And just before we move on, that look at. I know, right? You say UNCG, and raise your hand if you want to lose to UNCG, right? None of us, but they're having a good season. It's not a terrible deal.
Yeah,
but
they won the conference last. They won their conference last year, played in the regional. So
we should beat them, though. We should beat them.
They're a pretty good team.
They are. but we want to be better than they are.
Yeah. We want to be better than a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So
sorry, FAU.
Well, this weekend we went down to FAU. I think their RPI is 11.
Yeah.
They're a top 25 caliber team. They're actually leading our league right now, tied for the first place in our conference. Had a pretty good night Friday night. We had Josh pitched, about his normal Friday night. He gave up a 3-run homer in the first and settled in, pitched well the rest of the way. I think we lost 5-3. Yeah.
Let me
5-2. Sorry, lost 5-2 in that one. Just couldn't get much going. I think Zach Smith hit a homer. Couldn't get much going offensively.
Let me make a sort of an overall statement here. Okay, just sort of an overall disclaimer statement. There are, and they're not listening, so it's okay. There are people amongst the 49er fan base at large, not the baseball fan base, that at times accuse Kevin and I of whether we're making excuses or just making things sound positive when they're not or whatever. We get accused of that stuff, right, Kevin?
Yeah, from time to time.
Yeah, and you know what? Those people are idiots. I can say that because they're not listening. So they're idiots with nothing better to do. But this weekend, just blanket statement, right? We went toe-to-toe with a really good ball club, really a regional team. Okay, 11 RPI, best teams in our league. Impressive resume already on their part. But we showed well as far as our abilities. But Kevin, we just didn't do enough stuff right. As is all, I can summarize the weekend for you right there. We didn't do enough stuff right.
Right, and we made some key mistakes in key times of the games. When you're playing a team of that caliber, even in our league, when you're playing in our league, you can't make that many mistakes at key times and win ball games. FAU, it almost cost FAU a game. They made a key mistake, let us back in the game on Saturday, and we ended up going 11 innings. We fought back in that game, going 11. We lost in a walk-off. But, I will repeat your statement. We went toe-to-toe with a pretty good ball club. We could have won every single game this weekend. We were right into all three of those games. We had to lead Sunday for majority of the game, but just couldn't make the plays to get the victories, and that's the difference between the upper tier team in our league and a middle of the pack team in our league.
We have a roster that can win a series at FAU. We do. We proved it this weekend as far as what we're capable of. We didn't. What the lacking is the execution. I mean, the difference is taking advantage of your opportunities. When we get second and third with 2 outs, well, second and third, yeah, but 2 outs. You got to get. I don't know how you're going to do it, but you got to do it because they're going to get second and third with 2 outs, and they're going to knock them in. If you do not, it's a competition, right? This is not a friendly. This is competition, and it's kill or be killed. And when you do not take advantage of your opportunities, the other people will. And I mean, the stat was ungodly. How many times did we got the leadoff runner on the vast majority of the innings we played this weekend, and they rarely scored. Yeah. And that's taking advantage of opportunities. You got to do it. And
I think staff kind of try to force the issue a little bit. They got a little aggressive with base running and try to get things moving in that way, get those runners moving and getting those guys home, and just didn't work out enough for us this weekend. But like I said, we were right in those games, and we just one or two plays away from having a different result all weekend.
It can get turned around. It can get turned around. And the one thing I know is this staff is not going to keep working on it. They're obviously trying a lot of things. We were talking about the roster. They're obviously trying roster and lineup combinations.
Yeah. We mentioned the rotation. The rotation mix up a little bit. They mix it up a little bit, and they've also been mixing up the lineup. They've thrown lots of guys at different positions. First base, we had Smith there. We had Mims. Doms played there. We put Levi McLaughlin got his first start there this weekend.
It's good to see him on the field.
Yeah, I know he had some injuries to start the season, so good to see him there, and good lefty bat for us, hopefully. And move things around in right field. Trying to find that combination of defense and offense. You don't want to have too many defensive liabilities out there, and you want to kind of balance those with your defensive guys and your offensive guys. So they're still tinkering with it. We got a lot of options, so they're still working through it. We had in right field, we've had Dom, we've had Whitcomb, Elwood's been out there. Mm-hmm. Mixed it up at second base. Bullock, Tate Pennington's been out there. Bullock's been over to third. We've seen obviously Zach and Harris behind the plate. Only constant has really been Reese has been in center. Ober's been in left most of the time in DH. So
and Hunter at short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've been mixing and matching with the lineup and position wise defensively as well.
Let me see what you think about this. As far as facets of the game, pitching is, it ebbs and flows, right? And it feels like we're maybe on an upswing right now with the pitching. That it's improving. The hitting was so good all season, and it's definitely on a downflow right now. I mean, they're going to keep working on that, but it would be hard to describe the last 2 weeks at the plate as anything other than lacking, right? But probably the biggest thing, and surprising, because I don't think either one of us would ever guess this, has been the drop-off in the fielding right now. We were talking about this earlier. What'd you say? We've been leading the league in fielding for the last 2 years. Is that right?
I think the past 2 years.
Last 2 years,
as far as defensive fielding percentage.
And that's not where we're at right now.
And you just look through the conference team stats, and usually we're at the top of that. And this year we're kind of middle of the pack as far as defensive team. And I know what we're capable of. We're capable of being a upper echelon defensive team. And that's cost us a few ball games, I think. And
that shouldn't be the way we've come to expect it. That shouldn't be an ebb and flow kind of thing. We've put together last year. We put together a complete defensive effort year long, right? And we need to get back to that because you can even point to a couple, and I think even Coach Hibbs pointed that out. Like with Cooner's start Sunday, he didn't go as long as he had been because his pitch count was up. Why was his pitch count up? Well, because there were some innings that were supposed to be over.
Yeah,
and he was still on the mound.
Yeah, we've extended some innings, and that trickles through your pitching staff and your pitch counts and all that.
Well, we're just gonna have to let it play out. I'm not ready. I know you're not ready. We're not ready to hit the panic button yet. There is a long way to go. A long way to go. The midweek games are important. We want to win those, but it's about conference at this point. We're playing for conference seeding, and we're not out of anything at this point.
Right. And we've only played 4 series, and we've got 6 more left in our conference. So we're not even halfway there. Believe it or not.
And you know what? look, again, not affiliated, shoot me. But Southern Miss, FAU, and I say Louisiana Tech, they're the class of the conference right now, and we got some catching up to do with those guys, right? We're about to find out. We're going to get a real close look at Louisiana Tech next weekend.
Yep.
But we got a good look at FAU, and you know what? We didn't beat them. Could have. We didn't. Let's see what happens next weekend. But
yeah, we weren't overmatched by any means. We were fairly evenly matched, I would say. And if you look at the standings, there's 3 upper echelon teams, it looks like, and then there's like
a lot of people that want to be number 4.
For the last 5. They're fighting for those last 5 spots in the conference tournament, looks like. So, and we're in that mix. We're in the pack. So
we can, it's there. This weekend was our third sweep, and that stinks. Georgia, talking about looking overmatched, we weren't on a physical level with Georgia.
I think that we were overmatched for sure one game of that series.
And look at what they're doing, by the way.
Yeah.
Look at what they're doing, okay? East Carolina, look at what they're doing. They're one of the better teams in the country, and they're proving it. I think they're 24-7 right now. East Carolina is racking up wins. So is Georgia. So, yeah, it would be great to beat those guys, but, I'm not going to.
Yeah, ECU's 24-7, and they've got 9 RPI.
Yeah. Let's see what happens next weekend.
Yeah,
Let's move forward.
Georgia's at 8.
Yeah.
8-9 in RPI, and they're 23-9.
Yeah, so we've lost 9 games combined to RPIs of 8. What'd you say? 8, 9, and 11.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
newsflash.
Good news, we got 56 coming up this weekend.
Oh yeah, it gets way easier from here. Louisiana Tech's only 56. Yeah.
Oh.
But let's see what happens.
Yeah. We could wrapping up that FAU series. We had game 2. We had we talked about Matt Brooks bouncing back, getting a start. And we had that extra inning game, and they got to walk off. But game 3, Cooner pitched well. I mean, he's been pretty consistent the last few starts. We had to lead late, and then we lost it. Couldn't bounce back. So yeah, like we were. I'd say we're evenly matched. Definitely not overmatched by any means, and I still think we're a top 4 team in the conference. And that's what we talked about early in the year, and I think we're still in that mix for sure.
We have that. We have the ability. We have the ability. I mean, that's not green tinted glasses. Just look.
It's reality. It's on the roster. Yep.
Yeah, just look. It's there. Now, execution, we'll find out, right? I mean, that's why they play the games.
That's why.
Right? It is what it is. One last thing. I know we got to move on, but our home plate umpire today, I swear we're not making this up.
Don't you go through that?
His last name's Scandalous.
Go through the last batter of the game and the previous.
Well, look, the home plate umpire is not why we lost Game 3. Okay, we lost Game 3 because we lost Game 3.
Right.
Okay, we did that. I mean, this is what it is. But when you've got a guy for FAU that got hit by the pitch 3 times, and he's standing over the plate, and he gets hit 3 times, and he's awarded all 3 bases. And then in an important at-bat with Elwood up, Elwood gets hit in the lower leg. Could have been ankle. It was lower leg for sure. He's obviously, if you get hit in the leg, you're not over the plate because he wasn't standing on the plate. I think I would have noticed that. And he's gonna, and we've got the tying run at third, and it's going to bring up the top of our order, first and third, 2 outs, and instead Scandalous, tells Elwood he's got to stay in the box. It's just garbage.
Yeah.
Garbage. How can you let a guy get hit by a pitch, lower leg, so he's not leaning, okay, and tell him, no, you don't get your base, and then Elwood gets out, and that's the end of the game.
Yeah.
But, and this is, I mean, this is Conference USA officiating. This is like the third weekend in a row that we've had. I don't know who these people are. I don't know where the league is getting them. But remember, Kevin, we used to get so upset in the Atlantic 10 because the officiating in the Atlantic 10 was garbage. Garbage, week in, week out.
Yeah, it was comical at times.
It was comical. And then when we moved to Conference USA, we said, well, at least that's going to go away. We're going to a league that takes baseball seriously.
Well,
I don't know what's going on.
There's a clear drop off in officiating from our out of conference series to the conference series. I've noticed at home at least.
Yeah,
and I'll leave it at that.
You know what I'm starting to wonder? There's no way this is true. Your weekend rotation, right? Who do you start on Friday? Pitching rotation. Who do you start on Friday?
Josh?
No, any team. Who do they start on Friday? Their best guy.
Yeah.
And then, no slight on them, but you go down a step Saturday, down a step Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Is it possible that umpiring works the same way? Because if you noticed, the worst umpire of the crew, like our buddy Kale, like our buddy Scandalous, the biggest clown on the crew, when does the biggest clown on the crew always get work behind the plate?
Your Sunday.
Sunday. Maybe they work the same way.
Yeah, maybe so.
Their best guy goes on Friday behind the plate. Most important position, right? That's the most key position of the three umpires.
The head crew.
And by Sunday, you've got the clown.
You mentioned hit by pitches. We'll get into the La Tech preview soon, but they love to get hit by pitches. By the way, they stand on the plate, and I looked at the stats. They've of course they're leading the league in hit by pitches. They've been hit 60 times this year.
Weren't they leading the country?
I think they've
last year, the year before.
Yeah, they're always up there because they stand on the plate. So don't be surprised if you see some hit batters this weekend. They get on any way by all means necessary. They get on base. So we'll see a lot of that this weekend. Well,
let's just wrap it up this way as far as the on field stuff. Let's have some better stuff to talk about next week. How about that? Wouldn't that be cool?
Yep.
That'd be cool. Have some better stuff here, and I think we will. Let's just see what happens. But the signs are there. They got some stuff to get worked out, but they're gonna get it worked out. Speaking of guys doing some work, the minor league baseball season started.
Yep.
Let's talk about our guys in the minors real quick and give everybody an update on what they're doing.
All right. Yeah, we currently have 4 guys playing professional baseball right now in the minor league affiliated leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Brett Netzer, he was assigned to Salem Red Sox in the Carolina League. They're a high A affiliate of the Red Sox.
Mm-hmm.
Both Zach Jarrett and TJ Nichting were assigned to the Sally League, Delmarva Shorebirds.
Mm-hmm.
Class A affiliate of the Orioles. They're in the same league as the Intimidators and the Hickory Crawdads and those guys. And Colton Laws, I didn't see him assigned yet. I think he's in extended spring training. But we'll keep looking to find what's going on with him. It's hard to find.
Spring training's kind of minor league spring training is like a black hole.
Yeah, it's hard to find information out there.
Yeah.
But anyway, he might be pushed back. He might be starting for the Vancouver team when it gets to, I guess, June.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've been having some fun the past week or so with the minor league baseball getting cranked up. I know Netzer, he went 3 for 4 on in his opening day. Had an RBI. he's hitting 313, doing pretty good up there in Salem. Nichting and Jarrett. I know Jarrett didn't get to start the first game, but both those guys have definitely made impact so far for their team. Jarrett's first at bat was a homer.
Very first at bat.
First at bat up there in Delmarva. He's been playing right field, batting .455, and he's got 2 RBIs.
That's through 3 games.
Yeah. And Nichting, he's played all 4, and he played leadoff today, Sunday. Mm-hmm. He's batting .333. Looks like he's making some defensive gems out there, as well as Jarrett. I think Jarrett robbed a homer the other night. I saw a video. So those guys are doing great, off to great starts.
TJ's doing TJ things.
He did. It sounds like he did a snow cone home run rob today.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen video. I'll look for that and hopefully be able to tweet that out. But, yep, our pro grinders are doing pretty good, off to good starts. I think Netzer's coming to Winston-Salem later this month.
Mm-hmm.
And
the same weekend we play
Old Dominion.
Yeah.
And Zach and TJ will be in town with Kannapolis sometime soon. So
I think it's the end of May.
Is that it? Looking forward to seeing following those guys, and hope they keep up the hot start.
Yeah, we'll keep you guys updated on them. And they're all 3 of those guys are off to great starts. And Netzer is a I know he's on their top 30 prospect list, and TJ had a great season last year, and Zach got lost a little bit in the shuffle kind of late last season. But hey, surprise, he doesn't get the start. He doesn't get to play their opening day. They put him in the game. Second day, he hits a big home run his first at bat, and hey, how about that? They bring him back into the lineup the next day, and he produces again. Right? I mean, that's kind of what we said when we were talking preseason was this guy just needs some at bats and a chance to do something, and there he is. He's gotten his chance, and so far he's really taking advantage of it.
Yeah, I saw that the Delmarva roster has 4 outfielders, and I'm hoping Zach will get in there and stay in that regular rotation, because the more at bats he gets, the better he gets as the season goes. And TJ will be there. He's working hard. He's doing well with the glove and with the bat. So he's switch hitting, and he does it all. And like I said, he looking forward to seeing what he has to do in Sally League this year.
And that's going to be a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with that last summer. Following that, we'll follow those guys with you all summer long. We won't take time to do it now, but some of the summer league rosters are starting to come out. I know we got a couple of guys assigned, but when we get more on that, we'll keep you guys up to speed on it. We're just now starting to see like a couple of summer league things come out, but we'll wait till we get more data on that to pass that stuff along. But some of those summer ball assignments are starting to come out, and that's usually fun too. Yep. We've kind of danced all around it here, maybe touched on it. You just want to quickly run through the Conference USA action from this weekend?
Yeah, this weekend looks like Rice is kind of getting back in the swing of things. They swept ODU this weekend. A lot of sweeps this weekend. Marshall swept Middle Tennessee, which is kind of a surprise.
Yeah.
And La Tech swept Texas San Antonio.
Yeah.
So UTSA.
And San Antonio was coming in kind of hot too.
Yeah, they're still up in they're fourth in the league. They're a game. They're 2.5 back of the lead.
Right.
So they got swept by La Tech. Southern Miss, they lost 1 to Western Kentucky, but they ended up taking 2 out of 3. I think they had a run rule game today.
And in that, I mean, that's just baseball, man.
Yeah, that's why they play 3-game series.
Yeah, I mean, Western Kentucky is not anywhere near the quality of Southern Miss, and I think that one they got, I mean, they beat them pretty good too. I think I don't remember the score, but I remember seeing it going, really?
Yeah.
It's just baseball, man. It's crazy.
That's why they play 3-game series. Yeah, beat them 7-1.
Yeah. Sweeps are hard.
But they lost 8-2 and 14-1. So yeah, baseball's a funny game. It goes back and forth like that. But round out the conference. Florida International. They took 2 out of 3 from UAB this weekend. So we look
That's
at
a shame.
we look at the standings. FAU and Louisiana Tech tied at the top. We're stuck in between weeks with those guys. They're at the top at 9-3. Southern misses a half game out. That infamous half game. UTSA is sitting there at 4th at 6-5. They got that half game as well. Then there's kind of let's see. There's several teams between 5 and 7. FIU and UAB are tied at 5th at 6-6, and then there's 4 teams tied at 5 and 7. Middle Tennessee, Charlotte, Western Kentucky, and Rice are all at 5 and 7 there, tied for 7th in the league, and then Marshall at 11th and Old Dominion at 12. But you can see that pack starting to form between 4 and 10, really.
Here's your good news and your bright spot, Niner Nation. After next weekend, we'll be out of first place teams to play on the road. Right. I mean, we play FAU on the road, and then we turn around and we go to Louisiana Tech on the road, and then at least after that, we're out of first place teams to play.
Yep, and we're getting the tough part of the schedule right now, and hopefully that we get with the top of the hill, and we kind of see it get a slight bit easier once we get rolling down that way.
And that's sort of coloring some of our perspective on what's going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, Old Dominion's having a bad year. They're having a down year for their standards. Rice, obviously, they're having a down year, but of course they're starting to figure things out. And then we got Western Kentucky and Marshall and UTSA. So we'll see how it works out. I got a feeling we're getting these good teams out of the way. We don't play Southern Miss. We played the top 2 teams. So hopefully,
no rest for the weary.
That's right.
This is not the standings. We're going to be talking about this to the last week of the season. That pack is not going to unsort itself until the very last weekend.
Yeah.
You know?
And that half game is going to come into effect somewhere.
Yeah. Let's talk about the week upcoming real quick. The second game against Charleston Southern.
Yeah. We beat them pretty bad last time we went out to Charleston Southern. Colby Bruce had to start for that game, and I think we snapped our losing streak against them on the road. Hopefully we'll do the same thing on Tuesday. I'm not sure who the starter's going to be. I heard that Colby Bruce is a little under the weather this weekend from Sean's broadcast. I hope he's doing better. But,
he got in. They brought him back today.
Well, that's good. Hopefully he fights against that bug, gets rid of that bug or whatever he had.
Yeah.
But, look for maybe Gooding or Pinckney or Bruce again against them. And then we roll down to La Tech like we've been talking about. La Tech, they
play somebody on Tuesday. Who is it? It seems like it's somebody we've heard of.
I don't know.
They go to LSU.
LSU? Oh,
yeah.
Louisiana State University?
Yeah, that's all. They're just going to LSU, no biggie.
Oh, okay. Well,
they might be a little bit fired up for that one.
Yeah, I'm sure they will be. Their weekend rotation, just for your information, they start 3 juniors. Friday night they've got a junior. This is going by coming into this week. These are the stats coming in this week. Matt Miller, right-handed pitcher, he's 3-1, 2.27 ERA. And they on Saturday to come with junior lefty Logan Robbins. He was 6-0. I think he's 7-0 now, with a 2.91 ERA. And on Sunday they bring in another junior, Logan Bailey. He was 4-1. I think he's 5-1 now, 2.11 ERA. So they've got I think a couple of those guys are JUCOs, but they got experienced starters, and they, as you can see from the standings, they've done well all season.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting week. Let's see how we bounce back. And it's funny the psychology of it, right? We go and bounce back this week, and we have a whole different perspective on everything this time next week, right?
Right. Well, it seems like every broadcast we do, 1 week's up, 1 week's down, 1 week's up, 1 week's down. So next broadcast is going to be up, I think.
That works for me. That works for me. Speaking of up, let's talk about something that this is from last week. Since we didn't have a broadcast last week, something really cool the program did. The team has signed a young man named Xavier. I'm drawing up 8, Kevin.
He's 8 years old.
8 years old. Thank you. An 8-year-old boy has already in his life overcome some significant hurdles and challenges just to be with us, right? We think we got problems, pitching rotations and batting averages and runners in scoring position and fielding errors, right? We got big problems. This young man is 8 years old and already knows what it's like to fight for his life. And he is now part of our program. And pretty cool deal, Kevin. Pretty cool deal.
He's battling Jackson Mims for that third base spot in the starting lineup. It was really cool to see the photos and the videos out there of the team kind of embracing him and the coaching staff, and he's got all his gear, which my eyes light up when I see all that gear too, when I get that Grand Slam Cub package. But it was awesome to see the staff handing him all that stuff, the jersey. He got to wear Bo Robinson's retired jersey number, out there practicing with the team, stretching and doing his thing, man. And it's great to see. It's great to see.
Oh, and I mean, they did it up too. I got a chance to drop by there for a few minutes and meet the young man briefly and his family, and to go through the whole process and have him sign, and had some, really appreciate the local media coming out and covering that because they didn't have to, and they did, and that's great. But just to see a little kid's eyes light up, and get to go out there and do that kind of stuff, and just really neat. Puts a lot of things in perspective for you when you
most definitely
see something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we both have kids, and it's heartwarming to see stories like this. It's just great. It makes you proud to be a part of this program and follow a program like this. And
yeah. It's funny how that stuff works too. This is just personally speaking, but I mean, this is the kind of thing that would always touch you. I mean, if it doesn't, you're not human, right? But pre-fatherhood me and fatherhood me, that touches me in a whole different way. When you have kids, it does something to you, right?
Yeah.
And it just changes. Stuff like that means even more to you, I think.
Oh yeah,
when you see that.
It definitely hits you in your heart, hits you in a soft spot when you see stuff like that. And,
yeah.
I got a 6-year-old son and a 2-year-old, and it's
and thank God. I mean, neither one of us knows, and I, hopefully will not know what it's like to have a child fighting for their life.
right.
I mean, it's proud day. Proud day. I couldn't stay long, but I was glad to get there for the small amount of time that I was, and just meet the young man, and could not be more proud of our program being involved with this.
Definitely a proud moment. Always proud to be a Niner, but days like that were exceptionally proud.
Yeah. That's using your position in the community for good.
Right.
That's what it's all about. Well, Kevin, we're gonna put a bow on this one. That's a good way to go out, I think. On a high note, we do have we got the one home game this week on Tuesday. Drawing a blank on the time. Was that 6?
I think it's 5.
5. You know what? You're right. I think you're right. We are playing that at 5. Get out to the Hayes if you can. 704-687-4949 for tickets, or packthemine49.com, or you can always just show up at the Hayes and buy a ticket at the box office. Us, Diamond Niner fans, on Twitter, Diamond Niner Fans on Facebook, and email diamond9erfans@gmail.com. If you like what we're doing, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. Or if you don't like what we're doing and you just want updates on when we're doing it so you can tune in to get mad at the things we say, do that too. But subscribe on the YouTube page, and we would appreciate it. With that, for Kevin and producer Brad, I'm Nick, and we'll see you at the Hayes.